Hi, kiddos. So I want to talk to you about living and breathing the formula of suffering. I've given this to you before. Any meditator worth their salt has realized the truth of this formula. I first heard it from Shinzen Young, but other meditation teachers understand and know and teach it as well. And it's that life is going to give you shit. It's going to give you death and loss and suffering and pain and diagnoses and trauma, right? Just being in these bags of bones, walking through life, we will experience that. But how much we suffer from experiencing those things is entirely up to us. Entirely up to us. And the formula is diagnosis, pain, loss, whatever it is that life hands to you. Like, here's your shitstorm gift, is times you're resistant is how much you will suffer. How much you resist what you get will be the direct result of how much you will suffer. So, and that's not plus, that's times. Like, your diagnosis or your pain times how much you are resisting the reality of it, times equals how much you will suffer. And life just recently handed me a big shitstorm. I had apparently been walking around with a collapsed, crushed lung from a volleyball-sized cyst and got to spend 15 nights in the ICU and undergo 2 major chest surgeries, having tubes, big rubber tubes coming into my chest, living, walking, breathing with those in my chest for 15 days. And it was excruciatingly painful. And the diagnoses that I got were very fearful, could be 2-3 months intubated, put into coma. And in that process, I got to experience this formula in action. Did I suffer? Absolutely, there was suffering. But what I found was there was a momentum for my practice, a momentum of peace and calm, just ever present there throughout this process. Oh, peace and calm that I was able to ride the wave of. There was also a deep, deep, subtle sense of gratitude for this little bag of bones. We often practice metta, loving kindness, compassion, self-love, right? Like, love thyself, put the oxygen mask on yourself first, right? We say these things, but when the shit hits the fan, we go from subtle, surface level. Most of the time we look at this body, we try to appreciate it. We're like, oh, I'll try to appreciate that I don't like my thighs, or I'll try to appreciate this about my body. And it's usually superficial, right? We live in the West, we have the perfect body image, or our self-aggression with our body is usually surface level. We don't even really realize the hundreds of thousands of behind the scenes things our bodies are doing. And as I was laying in the ICU, after 15 days of being poked and prodded and 2 IVs in each arm, and every day people drawing blood, the nurse came in one day and said, wow, you're just bruised up and down, trying to find a clean spot to draw some blood. She found this little tiny area on one of my arms, and she said, ooh, there's your precious real estate. That's where we'll go today. And I just had to laugh at that. And I looked down at my arm, and I was so fucking appreciative that there was 1 square inch that hadn't already been poked and prodded, that she could draw blood from. And it just hit so hard how much every fucking square inch of your body, of our bodies, are precious real estate. I mean, our eyes that see in Technicolor, our arms that can give blood to test for diseases, our heart that pumps, our lungs, starting to come back from having a crushed lung for months to years, like being able to breathe again. The simple act of breathing, taking in oxygen, digesting my food, being able to have my bowels work properly. Like we so short shrift this practice in terms of this body is a fucking Ferrari machine. Like all of the amazing functions it does just to get us to move and walk, right? So there was such a deep sense of metta, loving kindness, compassion for my body through this practice, for this little bag of bones, a deep sense of appreciation for all of the little workings and subtle things it does that I just took for granted. There was also an odd sense of really being calm enough, riding that wave of calm, that being there so long, I had over 25 different nurses. And they would take a whole day or a night shift, so I would get to know them a little bit. And because I had that sense of background calm, I got to know each of those humans. And to experience their compassion. And to see all the little nuances. One of them was a figure skater. One of them did this, one of them did that. They all had their unique, wonderful personal nuances as humans. And had I been locked in that suffering and not had that layer of subtle peace from the momentum of my practice, I would have missed all of those beautiful nuances, those connections that you can make even in the ICU, even amidst all of that. And my loving kindness, compassion, emotional intelligence practice came in so handy when I got released and my body was going through the trauma from the nightmares of all the medication. I was still hooked to those devices and letting that unfurl, that purification, that body keeps releasing that from my body so that I'm not walking around with this trauma from this experience for the next 5 or 10 years of my life. But to have the emotional intelligence to process that in real time, wow. What a beautiful, crazy ride. So if you've ever been on the fence as to why the hell you should do this practice, or is it worth it, life's gonna dish you out some shit as bad or worse than what it just dished me out. Be ready for it. Be ready to meet it. Be ready to meet it without resistance so that you don't have to suffer. So all I can say is it works. This shit works. Have a great day.